This is so cool.
And there it is. Someone finally did it. A fully functional HPA Groza kit. What's up, guys? It's Dusk from Sons of Liberty Airsoft Group. Not only did I get the privilege to have this in my hands and fire it for myself, but I also got to interview the creator of this mold, Bryce Crispin. And here's what he had to say about his platform.
So what inspired you to do this? Because I know I've seen a couple of these, maybe like 10 or 15 produced annually throughout the years, but nothing really like solid, something that's affordable. So like, tell me a little bit, what inspired you to do this?
So pretty much, I was seeing on, the app Pop-Up, which is a lot of what airsofters use to buy, sell, and trade, that application. Just pretty much, US Airsoft, all that stuff, who mentioned these rare kits, in the Groza platform. And I'm like, you know what? I've been trying to get one of these to the United States, trying to get in contact with people locally, and just no one knows when, where, why these kits are going to be produced. So I'm like, you know what? I want to bring my own adaptation of this kit to the market within the US for way below, what other people are asking, and super easy to assemble and use.
Which is awesome because it literally, it looks so crisp and so clean.
Yeah, so I went with pretty much the easiest design to get the best quality and functionality out of this. Also, this is, a project of my own. This is all going to be community feedback based as well, from the first generation of kits. I'm sure there'll be multiple iterations made, different changes, stuff like that. So, this is all based off of what you, the community, want, and what you guys think needs to be changed, if anything needs to be changed. So just to let you know that I'm listening. If anything, if you do decide to ever purchase any of these kits, these parts will be available if anything breaks. That's like top of my mind when I buy something is how hard is this going to be to work on? What parts does it use, which we'll go over later.
Right.
And how much is it going to be? Those are my three main questions. So,
which is awesome because that was actually one of mine as well, mainly about the aftermarket support, because a lot of that for these kits is really hard to get. It's good to know that you got the commitment there.
Especially because a lot of these, specialty weapons are made overseas.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Now, my question is, because obviously you 3D printed this, but I want to know like more details about more so about the durability of this product.
So I don't have the space necessarily or the money to fully produce this in CNC'd aluminum, stuff like that. So I was able to use my means that I had at my disposal to be able to make this kit. So I chose to 3D print this due to the ease of use. Parts are easy to make. It doesn't require a ton of space. Just skill and knowledge to know how to do this. The material, for those who are material oriented, a lot of people in the past for 3D printed components have used PLA, which is polylactic acid. The unfortunate thing about that material is that it has a very low melting point in terms of warping, stuff like that. It's not as durable. It's very brittle. So if you leave it in a hot car in the summer, stuff like that, it's going to melt, it's going to deform, it's going to ruin the part. I wanted something that has similar characteristics to ABS, which is what a lot of your common injection molded parts are, stuff like that. But that's extremely difficult to print with what I have. So I settled into a middle ground. This is PETG. This is what your milk cartons are made out of, other drink bottles, stuff like that. But pretty much this all around ease of printing, very durable. All this is printed with 100% infill. There's no cheaping out on making it less material cost, stuff like that. This is 100% solid. This is as good as I can make it. The melting point is much higher than PLA, so I still wouldn't recommend leaving it in a car, but you should be just fine with having it in the car, using it out in the field, leaving it in the sun, stuff like that. So that's why I chose PETG printed material. Just to go over the components that are 3D printed, back here, the butt plate, the folding, this whole mechanism right here, 3D printed. Right here, pretty much the lower grip block filling in, kind of like the mock trigger block that goes right here, all that stuff. where your HPA line comes out, and there's a clip that holds the gearbox down to align the nozzle, all that stuff. So this is 3D printed. Come up here. Your trigger guard's 3D printed. Your trigger's 3D printed. This whole lower handguard section here is 3D printed. Right along here. There's also another little block that is a separate component that locks this grip from rotating. That's also 3D printed. This right here, the muzzle lock is 3D printed. Your muzzle devices are going to be 3D printed. Gas block is going to be 3D printed. Your trigger pin right here is going to be 3D printed. Then you have your upper sight, your upper assembly right here. That's going to be 3D printed. And then the pin holding this together is going to be 3D printed. Everything else uses the parts that came with the original gun itself, which we're going to move on to next, is kind of what this is made out of.
Right.
So there's a lot of components that are 3D printed, but very durable. I designed them to the best of my ability to last and to work seamlessly with the parts that came with the gun. As you can see, like such as the pistol grip, all the wood, all that stuff right there. The base receiver of the gun, the mags, all that stuff.
All right, which it looks so clean too,
Yeah.
especially with the lower handguard here. If coming from outside commentation, the thing about the lower handguard is that it looks so crisp. It looks clean. It doesn't look tacky at all. It looks like it is supposed to be there. And I'm not sure if you can notice it, but there are notches as well on the muzzle for your own suppressor device as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be made eventually as well, is aftermarket, suppressors that you would see on the real steel Groza. Also the forward handguard section, the hand grip for the barrel. Those are going to be made eventually. But those will be purchased separate, or sometime I might have a sale with the kits included, all that stuff. So
awesome.
Let's go over pretty much the base components of the gun. The main chassis that this uses is going to be the SEMA CMO 035 series AKS 74Us. I chose this because, for one, price. You can get these for about $150, which is great. It has a awesome quality for what you get, and it's very. You can modify different parts, stuff like that. Parts are readily available, all that stuff. And these guns aren't rare; they're everywhere.
Right.
So, as of right now, it's only for the CM035A series and CM035 series of guns. But in the future, I might be making them for LCT, AKs, AKS 74Us, maybe JG if there's any much difference. A lot of those come from the same manufacturers, but we all know LCT is kind of their own deal. So in the future, I might be making them for more base chassis, but however, for now, I'm trying to get it accessible as possible to people. So the base gun is around $150. Then from there, internally, in this gun right now, I have an Inferno Gen 1. Pretty much the HPA engine is going to be up to you about what you want to use, as long as it has a version 3 compatible nozzle. This uses all version 3 compatible parts in terms of HPA engine, hop up, bucking barrel, all that stuff. So if you ever want to upgrade that down the line, you can.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then of course the 3D printed components, all these right here. A lot of the parts you need are already included with the gun when you buy it. So there's a lot of reusing of springs, stuff like that you take off the gun when you build this kit. And then it's up to you which SU you use, which brand HPA engine, all that stuff. It does use a modified version 3 gearbox. Under my build tutorial, we will go over how to modify it, what modifications are needed. There's only 2 real modifications needed to get this gun working as a drop-in. So that'll be gone over in another video, but it's super simple to build. You may need some slight technical knowledge, such as knowing how to solder and using a Dremel. But that's pretty much as far as it gets in terms of the technical abilities you need.
Which isn't bad. And I'm assuming to actually modify it, it doesn't even take that much anyway.
No, a lot of this is just replacing stock parts and screwing new ones in.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really convenient as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit earlier, we actually went and we tested this thing out. We got some stats behind it as well. So you want to go over the stats that we acquired?
Yeah, so we haven't really tuned the dwell time on this engine just because I threw this in, but at about 100 PSI, we were pushing 0.3s at around 360 FPS. 0.3s meaning 0.3 gram BBs. And we were shooting probably, from our field that we can relatively measure, guesstimate, we were shooting anywhere from about 175 to 220 feet, no problem. That's with barely any hop. So range with this thing, just using the stock materials, just the stock barrel, bucking, nub, all that stuff, pop-up unit, you're getting 175 to 220 feet right off the bat without any tuning. That's just throwing it in. So in terms of performance, especially with this short barrel, short platform, you're getting a lot of performance for not that much. And if you want to upgrade down the line, of course you can.
Right, which is, I mean, even seeing this firsthand, because mind you, this is actually the first time that I've had the chance to actually shoot this in person, look at it. Not only did it feel natural, not only did it feel like that it wasn't bulky, it didn't feel like it was too slim either, but it felt like it was natural. The way that the iron sight is designed, it's spot on to it, and we've even gone as far as to just ceasing all hop. And even ceasing all hop, not only was it not that much of a difference from the iron sight, but it was also still tremendously easy to be able to pinpoint where your BBs are going, so that way target acquisition would be much easier.
Yeah, with the design, unfortunately, with 3D printed parts, you can't really design fine mechanical components. So right now the iron sights are set. You cannot adjust them for windage, elevation, or anything like that. However, upon shooting, even at 150, 200 feet, where you're pointing your iron sights is where these BBs are hitting. It's right at the tip of the post there is where your BBs are hitting, right at about 150, 175. So there really shouldn't be any issues. And you're not going to be shooting 300, 400, 500 meter shots at windage, especially with a bullpup design like this. So.
Oh, yeah, and plus, I mean, this is technically intended for CQB usage.
Yeah, so I would say so. This was, Russian Special Forces, Spetsnaz, all that stuff. So this is meant for a close quarters CQB, around the corner, low profile, non-bulky, high power round. Yeah, this isn't meant for long-range engagements anyways necessarily, but this will definitely hold its own against even highly upgraded AEGs right off the bat.
Yeah, which is nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this performs out,
yeah.
and especially for the individuals out there who actually take the time to get their hands on this kit too. I really want to see the feedback on it, because I'm more than 100% positive that they will not be disappointed with this.
And a lot of that comes down to which HPA engine you're using. So in this one, when we do show the video, the footage, it's an Inferno Gen 1 with version 3 nozzle. So just so you have a baseline of what you're looking at, and even that performs outstanding. So, a Gen 2 or even, a Polestar F2, something like that might be performing even better.
And I believe, you can even stick a Reaper in here technically as well, right?
Technically, yeah, if you wanted to. I mean, once we come out with the suppressor, you could technically have the barrel run out all the way to the end, and then you'd have a pseudo DMR and a bullpup setup with a Reaper. So.
Exactly. Sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Then comes to my next question with this, because we actually haven't discussed this yet.
Yeah.
But in particular, what did you have an idea for having these kits out? Did you want to have them built? Did you want to have them individually sold? Or how was that looking for you?
Yeah, so right now I've had a couple pre-orders before I fully designed the kit. And these are just for the kits. So price range for the kits that I'm looking at, what they're being sold at right now, is about $250 per kit. That comes with all the 3D printed components, the micro switch trigger that goes in the lower handguard, all the bolt and nut assemblies that you need to mount the grip up, and anything other components that you need to get it functioning. So that's $250 shipped within the continental United States and fee. So I do all my stuff through PayPal right now. So you'll have the buyer protection. There's going to be none of that, I paid for it and they didn't send it, or they're still in the process of making it. I'm trying to like a GoFundMe. It's not going to be like that. These are going to be for sale. Depending on how many orders I have will dictate lead time. I only have a couple machines right now, but I'm hoping with more support from you guys that I'll be able to reinvest that into the sport and start making these even more.
So basically what you're saying is that when it's listed as we have one available, it is ready to
I'll make sure that there's none of this
No cookie cutting?
Yeah, no cookie cutting, all this other stuff.
You need that.
So if it says one's in stock, just message me. I'm willing to work with anyone. So I'm sure that'll be figured out down the road, and I'm sure we'll grow more if this becomes successful. But I'm really hoping that this fits a demand in the airsoft community. It's a really rare and unique weapon in general, and I'm sure having one in airsoft will definitely turn heads.
And when the aftermarket parts come out, that's especially going to be another eye turner as well.
Yeah. So with the whole huge suppressor, the barrel grip, even just the upgradability in terms of their barrel and hop-up bucking and all that stuff. One thing I do want to mention is that since this is an AKS-74U design, it does use the 74 magazines. AK-47 magazines will not work at all. Not that they won't fit in up here, but because their curve is too extreme to be able to get past this handguard. So you will not be able to fit full-size AK-47 magazines.
And that is a very important disclaimer. It's actually a really good point to bring up. So if you do in fact get one of these, refer back to this video, because definitely you don't want to miss that detail.
Yeah, plus technically it doesn't fit the real steel version in terms of the rounds that it uses. I believe the Groza comes in a 9x39 and the AK-74U round, which I can't remember off the top of my head.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, man. Oh, look, we really appreciate your time doing this today. And also, we're looking forward to seeing some of these in these Milsim games coming up as well next year. Example, next Copperhead that comes up, etc., etc. But other than that, though, there will be links in the description to Bryce's channel, and there will also be additional comments as well. So if you want to try to get your hands on one of these, you'll be able to, of course, have access to that.
Yep.
And again, big shout out to Bryce Crispin for showing his amazing invention to us as well. Thank you, Bryce, for taking time to show up on our channel today. Hopefully you guys liked today's video, and if you guys did, click that like and subscribe button as well, so that way you do not miss the latest content from our channel. Other than that, guys, be sure to check out Bryce's channel on the description below if you want to get your hands on yourself on an OTS-14 Groza. Other than that, guys, that's all I got. This is Dusk from Sons of Liberty Airsoft Group, signing off.